It's time for the Engaged Club, the podcast for club managers and operators that strive to create loyal and connected members, guests, and customers. Here are the two guys with the club management and digital marketing advice you need to realize your club's potential. Jim Hope and Roger Kincaid.
Welcome to another episode of the Engaged Club. I'm Roger Kincaid, the marketing guy for Off Course Golf.
I'm Jim Hope, and I'm the GM of the Derrick Golf and Winter Club. Mr. Roger Kincaid, what are you going to talk about today?
I hear clients and prospects and all sorts of people who are operating clubs ask me about loyalty programs. Do I have a loyalty program that they could implement at their club, or what's the best way to have a loyalty program? And so I wanted to kind of have this conversation. And as a launching point, I wanted to invoke once again the famous Harvard Business School professor, Theodore Levitt, who said, people don't want to buy a 1/4-inch drill. They want a 1/4-inch hole, right?
Okay.
So my question then about loyalty programs is, do you want a loyalty program, or is there something else that you actually want? Let me broaden the question a little bit. Are you hoping to come up with yet another program that you can implement in your club? Or is there an outcome that you want to achieve that you believe a loyalty program will help you achieve?
That's a really good question. And the only thing I can refer back to is the Starbucks app on my phone and the and the tall cappuccino that I buy every day. And all of a sudden I look and I see I've got a star, which means that I have a reward available to me. And when I go up to the barista, I say, and I will please just take that reward off, and I get it for free. So what's that doing for me? I think what it's doing for me is that it's, and by the way, I'm not tracking to see how many more I got to buy before I get another star, but it's the reward that I was after. It was the free coffee. I like their coffee, but it was the free coffee that I'm after by using my app.
Right. Okay. I want to pin the Starbucks rewards program to the wall for a minute, because I want to revisit it, because the Starbucks reward program is unlike many others in the marketplace. And I think it's phenomenal what they do. I think it'd be really a struggle for most clubs to implement something on that scale that has that outcome, but we're going to come back to that in a sec. To me, loyalty programs are a lot like ball retrievers. Okay. They're expensive. Okay. They look like a great idea in the store, but then you're using one out on the course and people are like, what are you doing with the, like, what's your end game here? So when I see somebody with a ball retriever standing by the water, then I got one or two questions for them. Is there a wedding gift in there that you're trying to recover? If all you want is people to come back to your club, then maybe you don't need a loyalty program. Maybe there's something much easier that you can do to get people to come back to your club. And Jim, I was thinking about this for a long time and really pondering, like, what's better than a point system where people give their email address and then you give them 20 points every time they buy a green fee, or 10 points every time they buy a hat? Like, what would be easier to implement than that? And then it happened to me. I was at a golf store in Palm Desert, California. It's called Pete Carlson's. And if you spend $50 or if you spend a certain amount of money at Pete Carlson's, they give you a card worth $10 off your next purchase. So I think to myself, well, this is great. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to load up on some golf balls and golf gloves and stuff like that. And in my case, it so happened that I brought my wife along and she found some stuff that she needed too. So I spent $80 and I got my $10 savings for redeeming the card. Well, they gave me another card at the end of that transaction. So now it's like every time I'm going to go to Pete Carlson's, I'm going to save $10. And I got to think with the markup and whatnot, maybe that's $5 out of Pete's pocket, right? And if I don't come back, then he's out to 2 cents or whatever it cost him to print the card, right? But he doesn't have to, implement some loyalty program. I don't have to sign up for anything. And Pete gets what he wants, which is he wants me to come back and make my next golf purchase at that store.
And did you increase the amount that you bought because you knew you were getting the $10 off? I mean, if you're going to go in and buy a sleeve of golf balls, and all of a sudden you go, but hold it, if I buy 12 packs of golf balls and a glove, I get over a threshold and I get $10 off. So did you increase the amount that you spent?
Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I had to spend $50 in order to get the $10 off. And in my case, like I said, it just so happened I spent $80, but I went in there to spend $50. And, and I bought, what did I buy? I bought 2 boxes of Srixon golf balls and a Mizuno golf club, right? But what strikes me about this is that it is a loyalty program because it's achieved what Pete wants it to achieve, which is to get me to come back and repeat my business. And so I thought to myself, well, why have a loyalty program at your golf club when what you could do is you could, for someone who comes in and buys a round of golf, they play their game, and then they go up to the lounge afterwards and they have a hamburger. The server in the lounge could slip that golfer a card that's worth $10 off their next green fee. And then you're giving them the incentive to come and, purchase another green fee and probably repeat, hey, last time I ate lunch here, I got $10 off my next green fee. And so you're going to start a cycle of repeat business, which is ultimately what you want a loyalty program to do. And if they don't come back, then they're going to do one of two things: lose that business card. Now you're out 2 cents. Or they're going to give it to somebody else who's going to come in and use it and get $10 off their green fee. And they probably heard that, hey, if I have lunch afterwards, then I might score another one of these. And that's a great outcome. You're getting not repeat business in that case, but you're getting referral business in that case. And that's something that printed business card can do a lot better than some sort of clunky point system. So do you want a loyalty program, or are you hoping to achieve a certain other outcome?
Sorry, that's all I was going to say is that like we just complicate it, right? We need to complicate it because we maybe say we need to have an app and we need to have this back of the house system that tracks how much everybody's spending. And when they get to a certain threshold, they get this back. And you're saying, no. First off, just determine what you want your outcome to be. And if your outcome is I want Roger to come back in the door, and I'm going to do that by giving him something, well, then just give it to him and he'll come back in the door, and don't make it complicated. Make it easy. So
let's go back to the Starbucks reward system for a sec, because it's incredible, and I use it too, and I'm blown away by it. I learned so much about mobile marketing just having that app on my phone. And the first thing about it for me is obvious. They've made the purchase more convenient. Okay, it's tied to my Visa card. It just automatically reloads whenever I run out, $25 at a time. And every time I buy a coffee, I get points. So that from time to time in the process, which is already delightful because it's easy, I can order my coffee before I get to the location. It's waiting for me, all that good stuff. But every so often, they just tell me, hey, this one's free. Like, great. What a way to make my already delightful experience even more delightful. But here's what Starbucks does with that reward system that is really amazing. They gamify purchasing coffee, and they use it to promote new products. So what they'll do is occasionally say to me with a push notification, hey, we'll give you double the points if you come in and buy a coffee this afternoon. Like, sure. I didn't realize I wanted a coffee until now, but yeah, I'll absolutely do that. Or they'll send me something that says, hey, we've got these new iced tea beverages. We think you're really going to like one. Come in and get one this afternoon, and we'll give you triple the points, or buy one, get one free, or whatever the case may be. But they use that reward system to promote other products. So going back to the golf club, Jim, if people have, if somebody buys a green fee, you can give them $10 off, a $30 tab in the lounge afterwards, and promote another part of your business that way. If you have the mobile app, like Golf Course makes for golf courses, then what you can do is you can go ahead and send out a push notification to all the golfers on your leaderboard that says something like, hey, we've got a special 9 and dine tonight with a prime rib sandwich and a glass of Merlot for $18, right? And you can incentivize people to come in and repeat their business in a different way than they might normally have done that.
And the other comment I would make to that, Roger, and back to the Starbucks analogy, is that the thing that they do too is they don't put restrictions on how you can use the rewards.
Right.
If I have a reward and I want to buy a protein box, say, sure, yeah, here's your protein box. Or I want to buy an oat bar, have an oat bar, or here's my small grande or large. They're going, look, let's not get into the contest of pissing off our customer because the disclaimer that's at the bottom says, oh yeah, but if you read down there, you'd see that you weren't eligible for that.
Right.
Have whatever you want. We just want you to be happy. I'd say the same thing for a club. We always look at the green fee as there's no cost attached to the green fee. So if I get 90 instead of 100, I'm still getting 90 for the green fee. Whereas if I get 20 for my lounge bill instead of 30, I'm losing $10 because there's a cost associated to it. Well, there isn't, because I'm going to get 100 for the green fee next time they come in because they're not using it for that. So I'm making the $10 up there. And I'm just saying, don't complicate this by a big disclaimer on the bottom of what it is and isn't for. That all that does is potentially piss off your customer.
Right.
Just make it easy for them to use.
Absolutely. Keep it simple and make it so that there's nothing for people to keep track of or that they're going to forget the next time they come in. And, in the way that we've just described it, as a loyalty program, it's one that you manage for your customers. They don't even have to do anything. If you're just handing them a card for, that incentivizes them to come in and give you a repeat business, you're really managing it for them. So I'll go back again to the quote from Professor Theodore Levitt, which is, people don't want to buy a 1/4-inch drill. They want a 1/4-inch hole. So the next time you have the question, and it's really about any sort of product or technology that you want to use to try and drive the marketing at your club. But in this case, the question is, how should I implement a loyalty program? Then the question that I want you to jump to, the question that I immediately have for you is, do you want a loyalty program, or is there something else that you're actually looking to achieve here?
Yeah, great insight, Raj. I like the idea of focusing on the outcome.
Absolutely. If you have any ideas about this podcast or some questions you want to share them, you can always reach out to Jim and I at hello@engagedclub.com. And that email goes to both Jim and myself. And of course, you can always comment on us on the blog at engagedclub.com or on LinkedIn. We like to interact with you on LinkedIn as well. So until next time, thanks for listening.
This has been the Engaged Club podcast with Jim Hope and Roger Kincaid. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. If you like what you heard, share it with your fellow club managers and operators. Until next time, thanks for listening.